Hello and welcome to Bible Study with Alice. And today we are on day 28, Proverbs 28 of our daily Proverb reading. We're reading from the ESV translation, but you're more than welcome to join us from a different translation. As you can see, we are on Proverbs 28. These videos are filmed in real time. Today's date is the 28th of April 25 and it's a Monday. You can find the previous 27 Proverbs in the playlist below. There is a disclaimer as usual, and that is one, that these videos are unedited, and also I probably stumbled my word in, which seems to happen a lot recently, but it's fine. But it's good just to get that disclaimer out there. Let's get started. The wicked flee when no one pursues, but the righteous are bold as a lion. When a land transgresses, it has many rulers, but with a man of understanding and knowledge, its stability will long continue. A poor man who opposes the poor is a beaten rain that leaves no food. Those who forsake the law praise the wicked, but those who keep the law strive against them. Even man do not understand justice, but those who seek the Lord understanding it completely. Better is a poor man who walks in his integrity than a rich man who is crooked in his ways. The one who keeps the law is a son with understanding, but a companion of gluttons shames his father. Whoever multiplies his wealth by interest and profit gathers it for him who is generous to the poor. If one turns away his ear from hearing the law, even his prayers is an abomination. Whoever misleads the upright into evil ways will fall into his own pit, but the blameless will have a godly inheritance. A rich man is wise in his own eyes, but a poor man who has understanding will find him out. When the righteous triumph, there is great glory, but when the wicked rise, people hide themselves. Whoever conceals his transgressions will not prosper, but he who confesses and forsakes them will attain mercy. Blessed is one who fears the Lord always, but whoever hardens his heart will fall into calamity. Like a roaring lion or a charging bear is a wicked ruler over a poor people. A ruler who lacks understanding is a cruel oppressor, but he who hates unjust gains will prolong his days. 17. If one is burdened with the blood of another, he will be fugitive until death. Let no one help him. Whoever walks in integrity will be delivered, but he who is crooked in his ways will suddenly fall. Whoever works his land will have plenty of bread, but he who follows worthless pursuits will have plenty of poverty. A faithful man will abound with blessings, but whoever hastens to be rich will not go unpunished. To show partially is not good, but for a piece of bread a man will do wrong. A stinging man hastens after wealth and does not know that poverty will come upon him. Whoever rebukes a man will afterwards find more favour than he who flatters even. 23. Whoever rebukes a man will afterwards find more favour than he who flatters his tongue. Whoever robs his father or his mother and says that is no transgressions is a companion to man who destroys. A greedy man stirs up strife, but the one who trusts in the Lord will enrich. Whoever trusts in his own mind is a fool, but he who walks away in wisdom will be delivered. Whoever gives the poor will not want, but he who hides his eyes will get many a curse. When the wicked rises, people hide themselves, but when they perish, the righteous increase. So that is 28 complete. Tomorrow we will do 27, 29 even. Oh my gosh, Alice. Yeah, so that was 28 complete, and tomorrow we'll do 29. We are getting close to the end. We've literally got a couple days left. But yeah, we are getting there slowly but surely. So Proverbs 28, as I said in quite a lot of these videos, they are mainly written by King Solomon. There are a couple that's, they're not saying it wasn't written by King Solomon, but it would have more than likely have been written by somebody else during his reign. But with Proverbs 28, it was written by King Solomon, but it was during his reign. I mean, all the Proverbs that were written by King Solomon were written obviously during his reign, but they don't know when during his reign. It's a very difficult one to kind of to decipher, and historians and scholars don't really know when they were written, just that they would have been written during King Solomon's reign. So that's why I always put like his reign date in, because we don't know if it's at the middle. It could be in the middle. It could be the beginning, middle, or end. You know, we're not too sure when they were written. They could have been written in the middle part of his reign. Could be in the start of his reign, or it could be at the end of his reign, towards his end of his life. I would suggest it's probably were in the middle of his reign, because I keep saying middle, so I'm assuming it probably would have been the middle part of his reign. But who knows? We don't really know. It could have been the middle, but it was during his reign, and that was 970 to 931 BC, and BC means before Christ. And this is actually now focusing on, so yesterday we were focusing on overconfidence, people who are being overconfident. Now this is actually focusing on the dangers of isolation, the importance of wisdom and discernment, and power of words. Bit of a strange one, I would say. You know, on the flip side, so flip side of the coin, you could be overconfident, and then on the next coin, instead of the coin, you could keep yourself isolated. Now, nobody's saying you can't isolate yourself, because sometimes being on your own is actually probably a good thing, in all fairness. I know obviously in yesterday's video I was talking about my friendships. I don't have that many friends, because I do prefer my own company, and those friends that I do have are very much like me. They like their own company, except for the one friend, the one who I mentioned that is a bit more on the confidence side, a little bit on the confidence side. They do have their own friends, but I wouldn't say that I am their friend. They have their own, obviously they have me as a friend, obviously, but they have other friends, people I'm not friends with, basically. I wouldn't know what their friends are like, because I never seem to socialise with them, because I'm friends obviously with my friend, so I then wouldn't want to kind of then go and socialise with my friends' friends, and I don't think they would want to socialise with me, right? To be fair, I don't really care. But so obviously I have like my 3 friends, and we have our own thing going on, where we kind of have, because obviously how our friendships work, you know, they're very good friends in their own way, is what I'm trying to get at. But I would say I do prefer my own company. I wouldn't say I isolate myself, though. I wouldn't say that. I probably do isolate myself, but I wouldn't say I do it deliberately. Sometimes, as I say, having your own company is actually not a bad thing, but we do need to understand that it can be quite dangerous isolating yourself from the world, because, you know, if you're isolating yourself, there's obviously a hidden reason for why you're hiding yourself away from people. Like, could it be due to issues that you got in your family, friends? If you have friends, that's probably why you don't. That's probably why you isolate yourself, because you probably don't have any friends. You know, there are probably loads and loads of reasons why you would isolate yourself. But there is obviously those dangers, and that is, you know, it is nice to have those friendship circles and those people that you are friends with, like with myself. Like, I'm so grateful for my 3 friends that I wouldn't be without them. But other people who aren't part of that friendship circle, and then those that, as I said, kind of step out slightly of that. So all my friends that I do have, you know, I wouldn't like to say that I isolate. I think we all isolate ourselves from each other, in all fairness, but I think that's what it's kind of talking about, is that it's not saying that you can't isolate yourself from when you need to, but there is a lot of danger to it though, and we've got to be a bit mindful that, you know, we've got to be mindful of other people and their situations. Now, obviously, when these proverbs were written, they were written to young Jewish men who were obviously coming out of their youth, going into the adulthood, and they're obviously giving them like wise words, wise sayings and things like that, kind of giving them advice on how to be and how to do things. And they would have obviously been told somewhat the same thing as I just said there, but there's no harm in being like isolating yourself from people if you need to, but there are dangers to it, and that's why people, I think the thing is with humans, regardless of where we are in life, we are more of a sociable creature. So just that I like to call us creatures, but you know, we are like sociable. We're supposed to be sociable. We're not supposed to be like locked up in a box and not allowed to see people, because that would just drive us all round the bend. I know some people probably like, Alice, I actually do like being company, and I do like being isolated. I do like to do this, I do like to do that, and I do like to do the others bits. But yeah, is it really that? Yeah, no, isolating ourselves can be dangerous. I mean, because obviously like, during COVID in the United Kingdom, the UK government said to people to obviously stay within our own bubble and not socialise with anybody outside that bubble. So people did have to isolate, and there were quite a number of people within the United Kingdom, and I know this one because I happen to be that one person, where I was actually in the second lot. So the UK government basically said that a group of people had to basically isolate themselves because they had like health related illnesses that could cause them to be susceptible of getting COVID, and if they were to get COVID, they would be far worse. And then I think it was like in 21, there was a second lot of people the government then suddenly found, and I happened to be on that second lot of people of that list. And I had to self-isolate, and I didn't want to, I have to admit. It was so difficult, and it was very dangerous, because my mental health was really up the creek without a paddle during COVID anyway, let alone during that time as well. You know, so I was really like struggling with my mental health. It was really hard and very, very difficult. And I have to admit, finding God's word, that was where I kind of came back into God's word again, sort of thing. God's word always comes in and out of my life since I was a young child, but it came back in again at this point, because my mental health was so affected. It was just crazy. And honestly, the dangers of being locked up in your own home and told that you can't do anything apart from, well, going out unless you have a medical appointment, but you couldn't even leave your house to go shopping. You had to have somebody just, which is a good thing of having these friends. They were those people that would do my shopping for me and put them on my doorstep and run away a mile and be like, hi Al, hi, here's your shopping. Hi Alice, here's your shopping. See you tomorrow or see you next week with your next lot of shopping. Send us a text if you need anything. That sort of thing. It was horrible. It was very dangerous. So, you know, so yeah, that's a prime example of the dangers of isolating yourself. But it's also on the flip side of this. It's the importance of wisdom and discernment and power of word. I mean, wisdom is very powerful, regardless of it. Anything that's wisdom comes up is really, really important, and it's really helpful, and it gives you that understanding and that kind of knowingness that what you're reading, that's wisdom, is going to help you to become better at yourself and become more in alignment with yourself, because obviously that's what we want to do, bring ourselves into alignment with oneself. And to be able to do that is actually these things, these proverbs. These proverbs are so important, and obviously I'm not flicking through it properly, but you know, they are so, like, these proverbs give so much wisdom, and they are so important. You know, they all are equally important with one another. They're so important. They are honestly the best. I love Proverbs, which is why, because wisdom is so important. And just being able to pick up the book of Proverbs and just reading a proverb is so important, so enlightening, and it helps us to become closer to Christ and closer to God and close to anybody of anything. I just love Proverbs because the wisdom is so important, it's so like enlightening, and it's just like wow. And even when you are feeling a bit isolated, I mean, when I was isolated, I did actually open the book of Proverbs up, and not this particular Bible though, but a different Bible, and because obviously it's like 5 years ago, but five years ago since COVID hit UK in the lockdowns, so it was just so incredible at picking up picking up the Bible and reading God's word and absorbing all his wisdom and feeling so much empowerment and so much enlightened that it kind of helped me to get through my isolation, my period in my life that I did not want to go through. Obviously nobody wanted to go through COVID or anything, but it was so hard and so difficult, and I just felt so enlightened by it. So I'm going to write in the day and the date. I'm going to do it up the top here. So it's day 28. That's the 28th of the 4/25. So that's the end of today's video. So tomorrow we will be doing 29. Thank you for watching. Please like my content. Please subscribe to my channel. Please turn on the notification bell so you get notified of content like this that gets uploaded to the channel. Thank you and goodbye.